Verse 34 breaks open into something larger than David's personal crisis. The psalm began with one man drowning in deep mire, crying out for God to hear him. Now the circle expands beyond David, beyond Israel, beyond any single generation. Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moveth therein. Psalm 69, verse 34. David calls on creation itself to join the praise, heaven, earth, and the seas. This includes every creature on the earth and seas. The man who could not find a single comforter in verse 20 now summons the entire created order to worship. This is not desperation talking. This is theological clarity. David understands that his deliverance, when it comes, will not be a private transaction between one afflicted man and his God. It will be an event worthy of creation's full attention. The seas carry particular weight here. Throughout Psalm 69, water represents overwhelming danger. The floods, the deep mire, threatening to swallow David alive. Now those same waters are commanded to praise the God who rules them. What threatened David's life becomes a participant in God's glory. Creation does not stand neutral. Every moving thing within the seas exists because God made it, sustains it, and governs it. Their existence is itself a form of praise. Paul references this same pattern in Romans 8, verse 22, where the whole creation groans together, waiting for redemption. Creation's praise in verse 34 points toward that final restoration, when everything God made declares his worth without hindrance. Verse 35 returns to specific geography. For God will save Zion, and will build the cities of Judah, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. Psalm 69, verse 35. The word for connects this verse to verse 34's call to praise. Creation praises God because God will save Zion and rebuild Judah's cities. The praise is grounded in something concrete. God's saving work among his covenant people provides the reason for worship. Zion represents God's chosen dwelling place, the city where his name lives and his people gather. To save Zion is to preserve the place where God meets man. The rebuilding of Judah's cities carries the same significance. These are not just population centers. They are the communities where God's covenant operates, where his law is taught, and where his worship is maintained. God's commitment to rebuild them declares that his purposes for his people do not collapse under enemy pressure or national defeat. The phrase, that they may dwell there and have it in possession, speaks to permanence. Not a temporary return, not a conditional arrangement, but settled possession. God restores what was broken so that his people may occupy it as their rightful inheritance. This promise finds partial fulfillment in Israel's return from Babylonian captivity and points toward the final restoration where God's people inherit the new creation. Verse 36 narrows to the specific group who will receive this inheritance. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. Psalm 69, verse 36. Two descriptions identify the inheritors, the seed of God's servants and those who love his name. The first phrase carries covenant continuity. God's faithfulness extends through generations, reaching the children of those who served him. God's promises do not expire with one generation. The second phrase is personal and present. Those who love his name, not those who know his name, perform his rituals, or carry his title. Love here is active and directed, the same word used throughout the Old Testament for covenant devotion. These are people whose affection is fixed on God's revealed character and who order their lives. The psalm that opened with a drowning man closes with an inheritance secured for those who love God's name.